There we go.
Good luck. Have fun.
Yeah, good luck.
I'll need it. What's your ones rank?
SSL.
It's pretty good, I guess.
It's alright. I mean, I've seen better.
No boost. There we go.
Nice. Good touch. I like it. I like switching it up.
Oof. That was a banger.
Thank you.
How fast was that? Jeez Louise. Oof, got me. That was clean. Good shot.
Thank you. Oh, nice early pressure.
Thank you. Smart in. What's that bounce, man?
A little lucky for me.
Nice.
Thank you.
I do panic when the ball's like really slow on the back wall sometimes. And
Small
coming up-
ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, small ball's tricky.
It's like specifically on my own back wall like that. I get a little panicky because I know I concede stupid goals there before. That makes sense.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. I feel yeah, I'm the same way. A lot of the mistakes that, I mean, obviously like SSL's a little bit better than GC2. Not honestly, not too much, but a lot of the mistakes that you make, I make too, just at a different scale.
Yeah.
So I feel that.
That's good 50.
Thank you.
Just go in.
It might. Nice, good pace.
Last touch.
It's a good save. Nice, good speed.
That last touch was not expected.
Yeah, yeah. I knew that. I knew you had to save there, so I was just trying to touch it past you, hopefully.
Yeah.
But no, you covered well. Oops. I meant to do that. I just want to get in your head.
Yeah. It's a mental game. Oh my. That recovery. I want to watch that one back. Oh, that second jump so clean. I was not expecting that. Close one.
Close. Good coverage though. Nice, good pay. Oh, nice. Had me worried there for a second. What did you do at the end? I missed it. Did you flip reset? Oh, you went for the musty. Okay.
Mustard. When you open that, I didn't think your recovery was that good. If I knew you were right there, I would have probably just not done that.
Nice catch. Good patience.
Oh no, just keep it up. Damn. Nice shot.
Thank you. Okay, I mean, honestly, it felt like the only instances you struggled were in the small ball moments where it was like the pace slowed down a little bit. So I don't know if your play style will probably see in the 2v2 if you're kind of a faster player or maybe you're a slower player and you were just nervous against coming into me. Knowing I'm a higher rank makes a huge difference. Like knowing that your opponent is a higher rank than you, at least for me, throws me off. It's like, okay, I know they're better than me, so I have to respect them more than I normally would.
Yeah, 100%. 100% for sure.
Okay. So I'm going to download this replay. But no, that gave me a good feel for you. I feel like a lot of the stuff that you're doing is consistent, and I like that you kept it simple. It wasn't like where I was going for a couple flip resets here and there. You punished me for it, and that's the kind of stuff you want to do in ones. That's one. All right, I'm gonna start sharing my screen. So before we start this, just a couple of things I want to preface so that we're on the same page. Everything that I'm going to call out that you could improve on, every mistake I'm going to say like this is a mistake or whatever. The reason that I'm able to call these things out, which is going to seem like it's really easy for me to find all these mistakes, is because I've made these mistakes thousands of times myself. So I'm really aware of them. So don't be embarrassed. Like, oh man, that's an obvious mistake. I should have known that. This is, I sit in replays and watch them for a living. So
Yeah.
so I've seen these mistakes thousands and thousands of times. So it might feel like it's really easy for me to find them. So yeah, I mean, you're not alone in these mistakes. So don't be embarrassed or anything. What are these? That's weird. Do you know
It's from
when
July
this?
14th. It's called
Oh, there it is.
Virge, yeah.
There it is. And then one more thing I'm going to say is at any point, this is your time. This is not my time. So feel free at any point to stop me, ask questions, or if I'm repeating myself on something too much, say, hey, I get that. Let's move on. But yeah, this is your time. So if there's anything that you want to do or say or, hear my thoughts on, feel free to stop me in my tracks and change subjects.
Sounds good for sure. And yeah, I'm not overly sensitive with these things. This is just a learning moment, so I'm not sweating it. But I appreciate it.
Yeah, most people that book typically aren't. They know what they're signing up for. So I just like to let everybody know that I make the same mistakes, and that's why I can notice them easily. So here, give me your thought process on this ball.
So I rushed this, and I think this is something that I'm really struggling with right now as I'm like climbing the ranks a bit. The speed of the game has gotten quite a bit faster since since like getting up to GC2, and I find myself in moments not knowing when I have time and when I don't, and just kind of playing too fast, if that makes sense. So,
Yeah.
Like after the kickoff here, the player who's going for the kickoff has obviously no boost and no momentum. His teammate right now is kind of out of the play a bit. So I'm first to this ball and I have time on it to take a touch, but I get a really poor touch where I just give it away.
Okay.
So yeah, those are some of my thoughts. I think it'd be better to try to control this ball.
Okay. I'm actually not unhappy with a fast touch here. I think a fast touch is fine because, like you said, we're on kickoff. This guy's got no boost. Looks like he's booking it for this. This guy does have boost, but he didn't get that corner, so he's probably half boost here. It does kind of look like he's rushing you, so you don't want to take it slow and then him dunk you with your teammate no boost on kickoff. So I think playing fast here is fine, but I think you don't get the touch that you need to play fast here. I think playing fast here would be this ball bouncing and then you getting it right off the bounce, banging it off the wall back to middle or something.
Yeah.
Because both of them are heading this way. So if you send the ball this way up high and it bounces back middle, their play to the ball is going to be a lot longer than yours.
Yeah.
And it's going to get a lot of early pressure. So I like the idea of going here. It's just a matter of putting it where they can't get to it in that spot. Nice. I like the pressure. Nice. Yeah, you guys score off it. So yeah, like I said, that play wasn't too bad. It puts him in a weird spot. You ended up dunking the guy's hit. We get a little lucky that his hit isn't better, but it still results in that same. Like I said, playing faster is good and it works out. Nice. Okay, give me your thought process here right after this challenge. I think challenge is good. I think your kickoff's decent here. You turn really early, get the challenge. That's good. Now here, what's the thought process going through your head?
What I want to see myself do here is actually turn the other way and go back post, try to grab some pads. I'm treating this like I could continue to chase and apply pressure, but I have no boost to do that.
Okay.
So I think it'd be better to just rotate out, grab pads, and try to get behind my teammate, let him challenge first.
Yeah, I agree with the cut back. Rotate back post, though. We did just see him challenge. Maybe you didn't see it in the heat of the moment.
I don't know if I saw that.
We see it on our screen. No, you get a good challenge. He just also dives in with you, maybe thinking you're not going to get one. And this is fine because it's a hectic situation. You can't avoid every single double commit when you're no comm solo queue. So it happens. But you just have to recognize that he does dive in there because then landing here and then turning near post is the play. Because he's not near post. We want somebody covering it. So essentially just getting ahead of the ball because they're going to have to come back this way at some point. So you just want to be there for when they do.
So would you grab like the pad right down the middle of the goal and like the 6-yard box or like that?
Probably like that. Either that or this, depending on what they do here. If he tries to cut this in, then you want to be close to him and you'll probably figure out what he's going to do as you're passing this pad. Okay, he cuts it in. Great. Let me turn and apply pressure right away. Oh, he's going up the wall. Let me go to backboard.
Makes sense.
But in general, a good rule of thumb, and 1v1s teaches this to you really, really, what's the word I'm looking for? Consistently. How often do you play 1v1s?
I mostly play ones.
Oh, nice. Okay, love to hear it. So you probably know then, anytime you're ahead of the ball like this, you're not as efficient as you could be in covering the play. So it's just in general, we want to avoid, if you watch pro gameplay, even if they just play ranked, you'll notice how often they're not past the ball. Yeah. They're almost always goal side of the play.
Definitely.
So yeah, here, that's the indicator is, okay, I'm past the ball. I shouldn't keep going this way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I'm just stuck under the play. There's not too much. Not an easy way for me to get a good hit there.
Yeah, you've got to play, but it's not your best one in that situation. But you actually ended up bailing your teammate out really well here. He seems like slow to this, and you recognize it, which is good. That's a goal if you don't dive in. Here, instead of going for that corner boost, there's a couple reasons why going for this corner boost isn't good. The obvious one is that we're not moving upfield with the play. But the not so obvious one is that we're taking this boost as the play is moving upfield. And by the time we get upfield with that boost, the play might be coming back. And now on our way back, we don't have that boost. Yeah. So usually want to grab boost. Like these back boosts, you want to leave for when you're on your way back most of the time. If the play is moving this way with you, that's fine. Grab it and go. But yeah, usually the way that I think about it is, Anytime you're not moving with the play, so here, play is moving this way, you're moving this way, we're actually creating distance as time goes on between us and the play. So we're further and further from it, creating a larger and larger gap. You always want to prioritize moving with the play and getting whatever boost is on the way. So in this situation, your teammate's applying pressure here on this side. This guy's either going to switch sides of the field or he's going to try and cut it back this way. In either circumstance,
just take the circuit of paths.
Yeah, this is your play. And then once you get to about here, you're either going to see that he's going to switch it across. Great, let me grab this mid boost. Or he's going to turn it back. Okay, I can always curl back on these pads.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
So you always want to go to where you need to go, which in this situation, this is where you need to go. A straight line looks like this. What boosts can I get that keeps me as on this straight line as possible? Pretty close to it. So you always want to get boost on the way to where you need to go. And then from there, decide, do I have time to get boost or not? But I call pads the option play because they always give you the option. 100 pads don't give you the option most of the time. When you grab hundreds, you're committing to a play just by going for the 100 because now you know, okay, I'm going to go for this 100 and then I have to like full boost to somewhere and commit to a play because I'm so far away.
Yeah.
But if I go over these pads, I always have the option to turn back, go for a boost, or go for the ball.
Makes sense. I think part of it's being like exactly 0. If I have 20 boosts there, I know I can get supersonic right away and take the pads. But in my head, it's like faster to grab 100, which it's just not. I could already have been there with like 40 boosts and been fine.
Now you grab that boost as well. I don't know how much he has here. He might have gotten the corner, but even if he did, now he doesn't have that back corner boost either.
Yeah.
And then watch what happens now. So we make our play, whatever, boom. Now that corner boost is up. We're under pressure. First man can go take it from us.
Yeah. We got lucky. He just misses.
Nice, good patience, good read. Nice. I like the pace. Yeah, I saw him up. I think your pace was good there. You just got to recognize you have him beat, but sometimes it's not possible. The angle we have, I don't think anyone's wrong with that play. So here, another instance of we're not moving with the play. Plays like he's playing it forward here. You're going away from the play, right? Here we want to kind of move with it. Give him that option to have a pass middle if he needs it. Because there's nobody challenging him. Getting behind him doesn't help us too much here because there's nobody challenging him.
That makes sense.
If somebody's over here, I think this is good. But because it's so open, play that midfield. Then when somebody goes to him, they've got a lot of distance to cover. He's going to have a lot of time to decide to pass. And obviously this is solo queue, so odds are he might not pass at middle. But we still want to give that option because it doesn't only affect him, it affects our opponents too. If our opponents see us middle, now they're thinking, I have to cover both of these. I have to cover a pass middle and a shot. And it just gives our opponents more to think about. And then it gives us, hopefully if they make the right play, more options to use. So now here, if you're middle, maybe one of these guys, instead of them both stacking up on this challenge here, maybe one of them sitting middle, which gives our teammate a beat into space.
Yeah.
Nice, good fake. Nice, I like that pressure. So awkward. Nice. Oh.
I think I should have just kept boosting.
Yeah, that was.
Have faith.
Yeah, you kind of second guess yourself a little bit there. And I think that's one thing I noticed about in the 1v1s is a lack of confidence and decisiveness. It's easy to get stuck between two decisions sometimes. And when that happens, you're almost always better off, even if you commit to the wrong thing, just committing. Because if you commit to the wrong thing, you will have a faster recovery and it'll teach you much quicker that that was the wrong decision. Don't do that ever again.
Sure.
And if you commit to the right thing, great, you committed to it. But if you hesitate, then it becomes a question of, was the hesitation the mistake? Which decision would have been better? I'm not really sure. Now I don't know if I would have made a mistake or not. So now I'm going to make that mistake next time. And it'll be like, it's essentially procrastinating
Sure,
mistake.
yeah.
You're
Never
gonna
thought of that.
yeah,
That's
like you're
so
putting the
true.
mistake off until later. Eventually you'll make that mistake, but you'll never learn right away. So yeah, it's always better to commit even if it's to the wrong thing.
Definitely. It's also easier for your teammate to read. I
Yeah,
remember this. Yeah, I remember this being a pretty big mistake on my end. So I was like
it's a ghost hit.
100%. Yeah, I was 100% sure in game that he wasn't touching it, and I'm last man here, so I was trying to be
Hmm.
careful. But yeah, the ghost hit got
He-
me, I guess.
Yeah, he gets a ghost hit. It happens. That's something that I don't think Sonics will ever be able to fix because just the pace of the game. Sometimes the server is unable to register quick enough. So it sucks. It is what it is, but I'll chalk that one up to ghost hits because I've said it from the beginning that especially at a high level, ghost hits will completely ruin plays. It'll like even if it's just a split second hesitation that it causes, it's a huge difference at these levels. Nice, good early pressure, and we get the boost.
It's a good, it's a good dodge by him there.
Okay, I think you're too focused on boost starving this guy. Because I think you do well here. You're in a good position. The opponent's really awkward. I think here, let him go for that boost because you use all your boost to get to it first. You could have had 50 boost or so here.
Yeah.
Based in the play. If he goes for this boost, he's here. You're here. This guy either hits it out wide and you control it, and now there's nobody back because he's here. Or what happens here, he misses or whatever, it bounces middle, and you're there right away to punish. And I get stuck in this mentality all the time where it's like, I can both starve my opponent and still support the play. But if you're here now, you're scoring, right?
Sure.
But because we're 2 seconds later because we starved that guy, now we're rushing in from further. We feel a little bit more awkward about our play. We have to rush it and it gets saved.
Yeah.
Always play first, boost on the way. I think that you take this too slow. Here, as soon as that pass happens, you want to anticipate the timing of this guy's shot, P-Jock. Because this ball is about to speed up and change direction, and we want to be moving as fast as that speed up already is going. We don't want to see him hit it right here and then catch up to it. We want to anticipate the pace of it. So here, this position's fine if you had anticipated the pace and started moving quicker, so that when his shot happens, you're now moving the speed that the ball's moving already, and it's coming to you at the pace that you're moving instead of having to react and then speed up.
So you're saying like do like a quicker power side and start boosting at the same time? So like
Don't let go of boost from here.
yeah, just keep boosting through the turn.
If you just kept boosting through here, you're reading his shot, and I know you're afraid of it going top corner and it being behind you,
Yeah.
but that's where you just have to give your line enough space to time that top corner shot still being ahead of you if he takes it, while having enough speed to get across the net if it's a far shot.
Yeah, if this was on target, no way I was gonna make a save. I knew that in game. That makes sense. I just have to be quicker. Yeah.
I like the idea. Idea was good. Passes, I think, are harder than shots, to be honest. So it's going to take a lot of practice going for him, but
Yeah.
the idea is what's important. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're never going to get better at it not going for it, so I like it.
Yeah. Whoops.
It happens.
Happens.
Nice.
Risky.
That's a little overcommitted. It works out. They make a mistake. We get lucky, but here, your approach is fine. This is fine. Here, as soon as we see him landing under it, that's when we kind of want to let go, take a second to assess what's going to happen, let it happen, then dive. Just a matter of recognizing that he was still under it.
Yeah. And that's kind of playing into what I was saying at the beginning of this replay, just not knowing when I'm playing really fast, I sometimes just make mistakes because I'm rushing it and I'm not able to take a step back and still be analytical. Like there, I'd made up my mind that I was going, but if I was in a 1v1, I would never go. You know, like I would never challenge that. But it's just in a 2v2, sometimes I feel like I have to play really fast and it just leads to mistakes.
So I'm trying to think of a solution to getting to, because you don't want to not play at pace. It's just a matter of finding the balance. So it's okay to play at pace because, like I said, like those mistakes are going to happen and you're going to learn from them. So now you know next time in those situations, you can play at pace there, but you still have to be ready for that hit. And I guess here, we'll use this as an opportunity to talk about something that I was going to get to when I saw a chance, but this is a good one. All right, right here. We know that it's possible that it keeps bouncing mid. And now we know it's possible that he gets a touch. A different color. Okay, there we go. It either bounces mid or he gets a touch forward. Of these two, or maybe just a touch in general, doesn't matter where. Of these two touches, he gets a touch or it bounces middle. Which one requires more urgency?
Bouncing middle.
And why is that?
Because if it spills out middle, his teammate's there to follow up. And if it's a touch that he's taking, I don't think he's gonna have enough momentum to generate something really threatening as he's still like awkwardly recovering here.
Okay. I'm gonna disagree with you, and I'll tell you why. If this is less urgent because this will take longer to happen, so we'll have more time to react to it. This is gonna happen sooner, so we have less time to react to it. So if this happens, it might be slow, but like you said, if we're diving in like that, we have less time to react to it because we're closing distance quickly. This, if it bounces out middle, even though we're closing distance quickly, it's still gonna be something that we have time to read and figure out what he's going to do. So in these situations where you see that there are and the first step is recognizing that there are multiple outcomes. But once you see that a situation has multiple outcomes, you want to ask yourself which one of these situations, because there could be 3, 4, maybe 2, doesn't matter. But of all these situations in front of me, which one is the most urgent? Meaning which one threatens my team's possession more? Which one threatens that the opponents keep possession or get possession or take a shot? And in this one threatens it more. So we want to position in a way that will cover this possibility, because when we cover the most urgent possibility in front of us, so when I say cover it, I mean putting it in front of us. When we cover the most urgent thing in front of us, we're actually covering everything else subsequently because we have time to turn that to be in front of us.
That makes sense.
So we want to position with this play here. This is fine if we take it a little bit wider. It'll kind of give us more time to keep that in front of us. And then if he hits it forward, it's in front of us. And if it bounces past him, we keep moving and it's still in front of us.
Got it. So would you say I should be just taking it wider, or should I be turning and going back, like fake challenging almost?
I think here the play would be, let's see it a little bit before. So kickoff happens, that happens. Yeah, I think here keeping this line would have been best, because if we keep it for just a little bit longer before we turn in, like right here, we'll have seen that he's hitting it. And if it passes him, we'll still have time to get in front of that ball before the opponent. So I think keeping your line a little bit wider, keeping this line right here, that way you get on the outside of him, because his earliest hit is this way. We want to respect the fact that it could go that way still.
So just like more laterally and less upfield. That makes sense.
Yeah, like just giving yourself an approach that here it takes you longer to get to the ball, essentially. You have more time to figure it out.
Yeah. Got it. Oh, I remember this. It's not the best.
Did you see the bump happen?
I thought they were both going to miss the ball. Like, I was 100% sure they were both going to miss the ball, and then I thought I was going to be an open net. I don't know why in-game I was just like 100% confident, because in the replay it looks like one of them's going to hit it for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, here we have to respect even though they might miss it, it's possible that they hit it, and more often than not, they will hit it here. And so even if we go and score this, if we do this 100 times,
Yeah.
I'd say like 80 times we get beat and just dive in. So it's worth missing those 20 goals to make those 80 saves.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that for sure. I think one of those two players is gonna hit that ball most of the time. I don't know why in game I was like 100% sure they wouldn't. But even if they miss, it's so hard to read when players are about to make contact and the ball's moving fast. It's so hard to make those reads in game, especially when there's more than one player on the ball. You don't know how that hit can go.
And then they get those ghost hits half the time, and it's just hell.
It's just way better to not ever overcommit like that.
Here, are you thinking when you push in here, because you wait a while to push in, are you waiting to get the read on this ball and then push in?
I think I was just slow to it, yeah.
Okay, because if we want to go for this ball quickly, we want to be like not slowing down here. Just keep going, keep the pace. We've got him beat. But then here, when we slow down, there's no threat. No way that they score this. Like literally 0% chance that this guy puts a shot on target. His best option here is to pinch across or bang it off the backboard in the middle. And in both those circumstances, so those are the two possibilities here, right? So we've got the possibility it banks off the backboard middle and the possibility that he pinches it across. Of these two, which one do you think is more urgent?
The one that's spilling out middle for his teammate to hit, I would say, most likely, because if he's pinching it across, it's going to be like 1,000 miles an hour in most instances, unless he gets like a perfect kill on the ball that just spills out in front of the goal line.
Okay, so you think you should cover this first and then react to this?
I mean, watching this back, I wish I just went immediately because I'd have him beat to the ball to prevent both of these outcomes would be better than. But now that we're here,
no, I totally agree with you on that. Okay, so the reason why this is more urgent is because you will have less time to react if it happens. If this comes across the net, it might be fast, but maybe this guy's pushed in ready for it, right? Maybe they're in comms, whatever. You won't have time to react if this gets over you, or even if you're too far back and it gets across here and he's here, which we don't see it. But this is more urgent because you have less time to react to it if their shot taker is there. So we want to position to cover this first while still covering this. And how do we do that? What we'd want to do is stay a little bit further back in net, like this was fine. And then if we stay here and wait, now if it pinches across, we get to it right when it gets across the post. And if it bounces out middle, we just start rushing out for it and cutting off that opponent's shot angle.
Yeah.
Waiting behind this post here is like your best friend, because if you're waiting here and it ever comes across middle, you're shutting it down before it ever gets scoreable.
Right.
But yeah, I agree with you that going for it definitely was the best play. Nice. I like your adjustment though. Get some space. I don't like how far you stay from this play. I like here, you don't have a play, you pressure early and then you leave. This right here, with this happening the way that it is, we don't want to be way over here when a challenge happens, because then we have to turn and pressure with a ton of space. This is fine what we're doing here, but then we want to start curling in, because now we have the option to, if our teammate decides to challenge and he gets a 50, we're kind of already heading that way. Or if he gets beat, we're still shadowing.
Makes sense.
Or we're closer.
And if he gets a good 50, we're able to quickly turn and be on offense together.
Right. Here we're committed to going back. Here we have that option.
Makes sense. Also, if he doesn't go for whatever reason, if he full boost back, then I can challenge for him, since there's no one pressuring the ball in that instance.
Right. And so Rocket League is always just about option coverage, meaning you want to give your team as many options as possible to play off of, and you want to cover as many options as you can from your opponent. Because if you eliminate options from your opponent, it becomes easier to shut down their play. If you give more options to your team, it becomes easier to make the right decision. So it's all about options and percentages, right? If I have, in this situation, if I have one option, which would be to go back and turn forward, and my opponent's coming in for a shot, let's just say he doesn't exist, then he knows, okay, if he's going back, his only option is to turn and make a save. But if you're here, now your opponent's thinking about, okay, he has the option to challenge me here or shadow right away. I now have to either wait and react to something really quickly or anticipate one of the two and just guess. And in that situation, it becomes a 50-50 if he guesses right or wrong, or he's relying on his reaction time, which if you come in here and you make a committed play right away, it's going to be really difficult to react to in time. Or if you come in and fake, he's just giving you the ball for free. But having those options just makes your opponent have to think more. And if they're thinking more, it becomes more difficult for them to make the right decision.
Makes sense.
I think here, right when we get this 50, we just leave. We're low boost under the play. And even if we get up to this and flip it middle, we're floating upfield for a really long time. So our teammate has to score or has to 2v1 possession.
Yeah.
So just leave a little bit earlier here.
Yeah, that makes sense. Jumping off the wall with no boost is never good.
Rarely good.
Yeah.
But you have the right idea. Yeah, nothing is never or always in this game. There's so many different outcomes here. The play, this is fine. We get a little lucky there. What happens? As soon as that happens, we want to turn back because that wasn't a pass to us and he gets bumped off of it. If it were a pass to us, he'd have flipped into it. So because it isn't a pass to us, we just go back right away. Here, play speeds up dramatically. We stay slow. So play's moving quickly, creating distance between us. We don't want that distance. We want to maintain. So we want to be close enough to where we can jump in and make a play, but still far back enough to make a save if something goes wrong. And so here we're far back enough to make a save if something goes wrong. Sometimes, because if they 50 it and they keep it, they're really far from us. They have a lot of space. But we're not close enough to dive in if something goes right. So we want to be as close as possible while still covering the bad play. Does that make sense? So to do that, we want to match the pace of the play. A lot of people neglect this skill. They're not aware of it being something that they need to do. And matching the speed of the play is one of the most important things you can do because it gives you the position to have options where if the play speeds up, you don't have to speed up as much to catch up to it. You just match the pace that it speeds up because you're already going as fast as it. It just gives you a better position to react to things when you're moving the same speed. And then it maintains your distance. So you're not closing distance, you're not creating distance, you're holding your position and you're ready to have those options. So here, maybe, I'm not saying for sure, but maybe we're shooting this if we were closer.
Yeah.
Matching the pace of the play.
Yeah.
Nice, I like this pressure. I don't like that you come in for this ball just because our teammate has so much time to read it and set himself up that he's more than likely going to take this like 90% of the time. So here we just want to loop behind him, let him take it. And then we can keep our speed. Yeah, we get demoed because we slow down so much. So here, if we kept our speed, looping behind him like, something like this, we get to watch the play that he's going to make happen and we get to position ourselves to read it. And we're not backwards to this guy in the corner who's coming to demo us.
Yeah, that one was scary. But after I got demoed, I realized I was way too slow in the play. Alright.
Yeah, your teammate just took way too long. Yeah, it looks like you're more comfortable at pace. And so you want to play on that strength. You can set the pace of the game. So I know that you said you're playing at pace because sometimes you're worried about the pace being faster than you're normally used to. But from the gameplay of us playing slow in that 1v1, it does seem like you're more comfortable at pace. Part of that is confidence. And like I said, you want to make decisions and stick to it and be okay with either result, because you want to look at Rocket League not to win, but to improve. If this is the mindset you're in where you want to rank up and improve, you need to be in the mindset to improve, not to win. There's two different mindsets. There's improving and there's winning. When you're playing to win, you're playing safe, you're staying within your boundaries, you're sticking to what you know. And that's when you play to win because you want to rank up, whatever. But when you're playing to improve, you have to be okay with losing rank, because Rocket League is all about one step back, two steps forward. So let's say this is your rank. You're this rank because you have skills 1, 2, and 3. The rank above you has skills 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the rank below you has skills 1 and 2. You need skill 4 to rank up, and you're not good at it, so you start practicing it. When you're practicing it, you're making more mistakes than you normally would because you're playing outside of your boundaries. You're not playing to win, you're playing to improve. So when you're playing to improve, you're making more mistakes because you're pushing yourself to do things you don't normally do, that you're not comfortable with, you're not used to. So while you're practicing skill 4, you rank down, but you still got skill 1, 2, and 3. You're not a worse player because you rank down. You're just playing worse overall because you're adding in something you're not used to. While you're playing at this lower rank, it becomes easier to practice this because you're not getting punished because you have 1, 2, and 3 to make up for it, while everybody else is just 1 and 2. And you get more opportunities to practice this, and then eventually you get good at it. Now you're a whole rank below where you were with a whole new skill, so it becomes incredibly easy to rank back up to where you're at, and then you slingshot past that to the next rank because you have that skill. So Rocket League, when you're playing to improve, you're here taking that step back. Once you get better at it, now you're playing to win again. Shoot forward. So playing at slow pace requires that confidence because you have to trust your gut in telling you, okay, this is what's going to happen. This is how I have to handle it, whatever. So it's a decision. It's not an easy decision. And my players, anytime I work with players in RLCS, they get upset with me when I say things like confidence is a decision, because they're like, oh, it's not, you have to build it up. And I'm like, yeah, you do, but you can also make the choice to be blindly confident, because why do you have those kids in ranked who are way worse than you, who just don't give a shit about anything and they just go for every ball, right? They're confident even though they're not that good. So being good doesn't correlate to confidence. Confidence is a decision. So when you decide to be confident, you start either making more mistakes and noticing where you need to improve your game sense or your decision making or your mechanics, or you're not confident and you end up hesitating most of the time. So confidence is a decision. It's not an easy one because you've got
might have been feeling too much of it in that moment.
No, I like this, honestly. If your teammate doesn't jump, I think that you pinch this off him, or like golf tee it up, straight shot in net. I think that's fine.
All right.
Yeah.
Just feeling it.
But yeah, confidence, you either, you make the decision and you're confident, or you fear that if you're confident, you'll make more mistakes and you'll lose. And it's just releasing that fear is the hard part. But at the end of the day, it is a decision. You still decide, I'm not going to be afraid of the consequences because I'm not here to win. I'm here to improve.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think that's a good mentality to think about while I'm on the grind up through the ranks. I notice especially in ones that when I'm feeling confident, winning games just feels really easy. And
Yeah.
the moment that I start losing like a few in a row, you lose your confidence and you can
Question yourself.
You just start.
Yeah.
And 1v1 especially, you just get so punished if you're not feeling good mentally and not feeling confident.
Oh, it happened to me on stream yesterday. I was playing 2v2s and I was playing really well. I was winning every game. And so I started to, because I was playing really well, I started commanding more time on the ball from my teammates. And I was chasing, I'll admit it, I was chasing, but when you're playing better than everybody else in your lobbies, chasing is a good thing, because when your touches are more valuable than everybody else's, you getting more touches is a good thing. So anyway, I was chasing, doing well, and then I ran into this kid who just wasn't meshing with it. He was also kind of in a mentality of chasing, and he said something like, "Stop chasing." And I was like, "Okay, you know what? Like, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I was chasing. Maybe he's just not the type of player who's comfortable with that. So whatever." So I started playing differently to accommodate to him, and I started playing worse because I wasn't as confident. I was like, "Okay, chasing, I was confident about it. I was doing what I thought
Yeah.
would work." Now I'm thinking about playing around him, and I started playing worse, and then it just started going downhill because I started questioning myself, even the games after that. So yeah, it's a huge impact on your play. I don't like how far away you get here because again, we don't want to create distance because I mean, it's easy to forget how big this field is, right? But look at all this space we're giving to our opponent here. If he
Yeah.
touches the ball this way and you do this, he's got so much space to do this and make you cut back and then cut back and then cut back. And he's always a step ahead of you with that because he's getting to make the decision on the play. Instead of just going straight back here, because what you're doing is you're like, okay, if he hits this forward really fast, I'm ahead of it. I'm making sure that I'm ahead of all his plays. We can do that while still closing distance because actually the closer we get to him, the more pressure we're applying. And if he hits it, it's still our ball. He's just now right behind us instead of us being forward with it. But we've got the space to keep possession of that ball. And then it also, most of the time, will slow him down, giving your teammate a better recovery.
That makes
Because if we
sense.
get close to him, he's like, oh, he's going to challenge me. Let me slow down and get control. Let me not keep pace and get the ball away from me.
Right. He doesn't
So you
want to
just
take
want
it
to
away. Yeah.
Right. You want to keep that position close to him. Like I said, you want to stay as close as you can while still covering that furthest possible hit. And so the options here are he either bangs it or he keeps it close. The most threatening is that bang because if it happens, we have less time to react and get back for it. So we can cover this from about here. We're still covering it because if it happens, we'll get back to it. But now we're close enough that if he doesn't go with it, we've covered his other options. So here, I'm going to give you their perspective, a mentality on the ball that will hopefully help you understand how you can make these decisions a little bit more consistently. So play happens, whatever.
This guy's camera's so
He's got a
slow.
free ball. He's got a free ball, right? A free ball is anytime a ball is yours, guaranteed. Nobody's challenging, nobody's pressuring you. You have space, you have time. You're the first person to it. Sometimes you don't have space or time. Sometimes you're racing somebody, but you know that you're going to beat them to it. So a free ball is any time that you know you have a play on the ball.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a free ball, there's 3 types of touches you can get. Actually, when you have a free ball, you want to focus on keeping possession of it, right? Because if it's free and you give away possession, you weren't forced to do that. You made a bad decision. So we want to keep possession with a free ball. Anytime there's a free ball, how do we keep possession? There's 3 types of, excuse me, 3 types of touches you can make that will keep possession for you.
Like a
The
first
first,
touch, yeah, a shot, pass.
yep, yep, perfect. So the first one that you want to prioritize them in this order, and I'll tell you why. The first one is a shot. The reason this is priority number 1 is that if you see a shot that is like 90% going to go in, that's how you win the game. You should take that. So here, is there a shot that we can take that's 90% going to go in? No. If we shoot it, it's just going to be a free ball for the defender. So if we can't shoot it, and 90% chance it goes in, then we want to look for a first touch. The reason a first touch is second is because doing things on your own is more efficient than doing that same thing with somebody else. So if I have space to first touch the ball, I can progress up the field by myself and still keep possession rather than progressing upfield with a teammate and giving him possession, because now I have to recover. I have to get into a position. He has to receive the ball without getting intercepted. So it's less efficient than a first touch. And a first touch also gives us more options because if we get a good enough first touch, then in theory, our second touch should also be a free ball. So if that second touch is another free ball, we reset our options back to square one. Okay, I have another free ball. Can I shoot this one? Can I first touch it again? Whatever. So in this position, do we have space for a first touch? We do. Okay, I'm going to take that first touch, and I'm going to have another free ball here that's going to give me options. If we can't, if there's somebody here challenging, that's when we look for the pass, because like I said, a pass is the least efficient way to keep possession. because it requires more than one person. It makes you guys both use boost most of the time. It makes you move positions, and it makes you have to recover. And for a split second, neither of you are in control of the ball because it has to travel from one to the other. So we want to wait for a pass to be almost a necessary option. And that doesn't mean you shouldn't pass if there's space in front of you, right? Because if there's somebody here and there's actually a time where passing is more efficient than a first touch. And it's when the pass itself will beat an opponent. It will take an opponent out of the play. So if we have somebody here challenging you and there's a teammate over here, let's say we're here, we can get a first touch. Maybe there's space for it, but that first touch doesn't beat the opponent. That's when a pass is more efficient, because that pass will beat the opponent. The first touch, we're still going to have to do something after to beat the opponent. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
So you're passing and trading one for one. So with that mentality, now as the defender, can this guy get a shot off that's like 90%? No, he can't. Can he get a first touch? He can. So that means that's probably what he's going to do. That doesn't mean it always happens, because people don't think like this. Specifically, this is something that that I just, I've spent time thinking about and trying to put into words. So it's like a subconscious feeling, not a necessarily a thought process. But most of the time, players, especially at this level, will feel this.
It's a rank
and you
thing
can,
for sure. Because it's a meta.
Go ahead.
At the higher levels, like the meta is to maintain possession right now. Possession is huge.
Right.
And so
Absolutely.
you don't see as much booming of the ball away when it's not contested like this. So you can expect in a GC lobby that this person's going to control the ball the majority of the time.
Right. So this thought process is going to give you the ability to anticipate your opponents more, and it's going to give you the ability to cover those things more accurately, because when you start thinking like this, you're able to read your opponents better. Okay, now I know this is a thought process. I know he's probably going to first touch it. I'm in a position to cover that first touch so that he doesn't have space for a free second touch. I want to make his second touch. I want him to work for it. I want him to, if he messes up his first touch, I can punish it. And I want him to know that, because if he knows that, now he's more likely to mess it up, because he's thinking about, ooh, I can't mess this up. Right. And even if he doesn't mess it up, we never committed to anything. We're just there. We're just there to say, hey, right when you mess up, I'm punishing you. And that's just pressure. You're there to apply pressure. You don't have to commit. Anytime these three touches aren't available, you go for a clear, but that's not a possession play. That's I can't keep possession. So if I can't keep it on my side, let me just not keep it on their side. When you go up for this area, I like this play. Play is great. You make your touch here. You turn yourself this way. We always want to be thinking steps ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4 steps ahead. The higher rank you get, the more ahead you have to think. And so here, when you go up for this aerial, as soon as you jump, this aerial's free ball. Can I shoot this? Not really. Can I first touch it? I have space in that corner. Yeah. Can I pass it? Probably not. Whatever. We go for that first touch, looks like. But we also want to be thinking about what I want to do after my first touch here, because my first touch, the intention is to go for it again. So I want to be thinking about my entire movement. As soon as I touch this ball, I want to be thinking about, I want to have already thought about my landing. So I want to already think about how I'm going to make contact, what position I'm in, and what position I need to be in when I land. How do I get there between here and here? Which realistically here, we don't have to do much. We just kind of stay put.
Hold power slide.
I mean, this just reaction time. Yeah. Okay, I like that you said that, because it gives me something to talk about here. You never want to anticipate a miss unless you can see it happening. Yeah. Because when you anticipate a miss, you start relying on your opponent or your teammates making mistakes. And you don't want to rely on mistakes, because the better you get, the less mistakes are going to happen in your lobbies. Sure. So you never want to rely on a mistake. And I will always take oh, I could have scored that, but because I didn't expect him to miss, I didn't, over ooh, I thought he was going to miss, and now we got scored on because I committed to it.
And now I'm flopping around in their net with 0 boost.
Right. So this play is great. You're just forced to react here. Reaction time is something you can work on, but not in Rocket League specifically. You can work on it elsewhere. You can go on a website. If you type in like reaction time online or something, reaction trainer, there's websites you can use that will, like, when this flashes green, click, and it'll tell you your reaction time to it. Stuff like that will help. But yeah, this is nothing wrong with not anticipating a miss there. Good pressure. I like that you don't commit before you're comfortable, right? You wait until you're confident about your challenge. That's good. I like your pads here. This is really good. Seems like you're really good about choosing a 50, like, or picking one out when you should go. I like it. I think the only issue you have with that is your spacing, giving yourself a better position to pick a challenge either sooner or more accurately. But when it comes to actually choosing when to go, I think you're really good about picking your challenges. Here, this position is actually not as good as a position you could have, which would be here. And the reason for it is because when you're here, what you're doing is you're playing afraid. You're playing a what if scenario, which you want to respect possibility, which the possibility he gets dunked is there, right? But what you're doing to respect it is I'm in a position to just give him enough time to get back and then one of us can go. What you want to be doing is I want to be positioned to where I can pressure that if it happens, because then I'm controlling the play while he's getting back versus I'm just waiting for him to get back before I challenge. Does that make sense?
Can you? Yeah, I'm a little confused. So
Yeah.
So you're saying, based on my positioning here, like I'm playing it too far away almost, where I'm expecting my teammate to get beat and then need like a lot of time to recover, versus staying closer and being able to follow up his touch.
Yeah, what it looks like you're doing here is if he gets it over, I'm close enough to commit and score, but I don't want to be too close to where if that doesn't happen, all of a sudden I'm too close. You can be closer here without being too close, because what you're actually doing is you're respecting this possibility, but you're not covering it. And what I mean by that is you're positioned to cover if this happens.
Right, but not a loss. Yeah.
But if this happens, you're just positioned to not get scored on.
Right.
You want to be positioned to cover and pressure. And so we just want to be a little bit tighter here, because now it'll take a little bit of faster reaction to get to this, but now we're covering both possibilities.
Makes sense.
Okay.
So it's almost like I position too passively a lot of the time, a second man.
Yeah, and I'm guilty of this myself in twos specifically, because I'm a threes player, and in threes, you always need to have that third man. And same thing with twos and ones, like you always need to have that last man coverage. But in twos, it's a little different, because last man, there's only two people on the field. You have a little bit more time to get control of a play as last man. So even if they hit it past you here and you're close to it, because there's not a third person applying pressure to it, you'll have the time to get ahead of this play or shadow it or whatever. So you have to be comfortable positioning closer, which would require you to react faster to losses. But at the high level of twos, that's the meta. You have to be able to do that, because this situation a lot of times isn't going to make it over. And if that, in this position, if that doesn't happen, we're giving up possession, or we're coming in and we're challenging away from the net versus towards the net.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I hadn't even thought of that.
Because here, I guess I'll word it one more way that I think it might give you a better understanding. Here, we're waiting for the ball to get to us. Here, we're waiting to go to the ball.
Yeah. Right, like we'd even potentially have an angle to shoot that if their defender was slower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Whereas that angle.
And now, yeah, now your challenge here is just a matter of buying time versus threatening net. Nice, great demo.
Kind of wish I left it for my teammate. Which is a little scary to do.
I mean, you kind of demo him and catch it in the same motion. So at that point, I feel like take it and go. I do want to say here, ball cam on. Anytime you're dribbling and you're not dribbling to set up your shot on target, ball cam on. And I know it's confusing, because when we're dribbling, ball cam off is like natural. It feels better. But with ball cam on, this is what we'll see. We'll get to see, like here, if we keep it off and he decides to turn in, as soon as he turns in, he's now behind the ball. We don't know if he's challenging or faking. But if we have ball camera on and he turns in, we can see everything he does still. Right. So if we're dribbling across the field, ball camera on, If we're dribbling towards the net, ball camera off.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Because when we're going at the net, we're looking in front of us anyway. But when we're dribbling across, we want to look at the threat. It would give you more control of that 50. You have more information to base your 50 off of.
That touch was a little too far.
Yeah, this is just a small mechanical error. Again, here, notice how wide you're playing. We want to make sure that we're closing distance because we're too far. Whenever you're too far, you want to be closing distance. Whenever you're too close, you want to be creating distance.
Yeah.
But you essentially want to find that sweet spot again where, you're close enough to punish immediately on a mistake, but far enough to save any shot they take. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah. It seems to be like a running theme here. My rotations are just too far out of the play.
Here again, we're waiting for that ball. You're saying, if my teammate can get it across, I'll dive in, but that's the only time I'm going to apply pressure. If he loses it over here, I need to be so far back that if they just bang it on target, I'm there. What you need to do is be closer so that if he bangs it, you're immediately applying pressure to the play. Either you collect it, or if he just catches it, whatever, you're there to slow him down to give your teammate time to get out. But when we're this far away, we're actually giving our teammate less time to get out because our opponent can speed it up and keep possession because they don't have somebody close to take the ball if they hit it far from themselves. Make sense?
It does, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I think you're right. That is somewhat the running theme. Well, your teammate didn't look for that. That kind of sucks.
Yeah.
That was a really good idea. That's a goal if he stays. Nice. Are you using air roll right binding or is this regular air roll? It looks like the binding.
It's arrow right.
Okay, so you're using your joystick and air roll right?
Yeah.
Okay. I have found myself overusing this, so I've actually taken the time to unbind it for a little while and get used to regular air roll again, because I found myself only using air roll right. And when that happens, I'm actually, even though when you're using an air roll binding, your joystick, you still have more movement than a regular air roll. When you're limiting yourself to only air roll right, you're actually cutting out angles that you could get elsewhere. And for me, I got too used to using right, so I had to unbind it for a little while just to get used to regular again. But it's a matter of knowing when and when not to use it. Here, we don't want to air roll right because air rolling right doesn't do much for us. We're not getting around the ball well with right. If anything, we want to air roll left here, right? Because if we air roll right, we're putting this part of our nose, we're moving around to the outside of the ball. It's essentially putting us in a position to hit the ball out.
Yeah.
But if we air roll left here, that's what's going to give us towards the net. So have you always used air roll right or bindings for air roll and not the regular air roll?
I've used regular air roll. I have regular air roll on left bumper along with power slide, and then I have air roll
Same.
on the right bumper. And so I just use a combination of regular air roll and air roll right. But I agree, like here, if I just flew in a straight line towards the ball, got a soft touch, and maybe just a little bit of air roll adjustment off of the wall to get that first touch, and then I could switch over to air roll right once it's in control, that'd be better. I think this is like a tricky setup to work with since the ball's off the wall, and I just kind of panicked a little bit, and I'm not really sure what I was trying to accomplish there, honestly.
Okay, and I haven't seen your aerials too much because in twos there's not as many, but if you find yourself using air roll right like all the time, you're probably using it too much and it's probably hurting you like right there. So I would suggest unbinding it so that you can't use it for a little while and go into rings and get used to regular air roll again. But yeah, I think I agree with you in the sense that most of your errors are coming from giving yourself too much space between you and the play, so that you end up having to close distance and then make a play, which you're putting yourself at a disadvantage by doing that. Sticking closer to the play, applying that pressure earlier, moving with the play, not away from it to get boost, or moving with the play to close distance when you're far from it and apply pressure. But it's all, and you play a lot of ones, so you should be able to integrate this into your play well. Try to play ones with the mentality of never giving your opponent free time on the ball. And that's going to cause you to play a lot more small ball, a lot more slow. And I think that's maybe why you play so wide, is you're not comfortable in slowing your opponent down, because then you feel not confident about your your pace of play or your ability to make decisions quickly. But if you force yourself to start playing that way more, you'll get used to it more. You'll get punished for the mistakes you make. You'll notice them sooner, and you'll knock them out sooner. So try playing some ones with the mentality of not giving your team or your opponent any free time on the ball. And you're going to start to learn when you should stick around really close, when you should be playing pads, when you can just focus on the ball, when you need to go for 100 pad. It's going to teach you a lot better how to handle those situations closer to your opponent.
It's very good advice. I appreciate it. Is there
Yeah,
anything
absolutely.
mechanically that you think is like urgently needs to get worked on?
Recoveries. I think your recoveries could use work, and that's again thinking ahead, being able to think, this is what I'm going to do, this is how I need to come out of it. And when you make a play, you always want to have the plan of, this is what I'm going to do if it works, this is what I'm going to do if it doesn't.